Inside the Arena is presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook.
Welcome to Inside the Arena, your source for everything off the ice, off the court, and outside the field of play. With your hosts, KOMO Sports Director Niko and KOMO Senior Reporter Chris Daniels.
That's right.
Nice.
People are still cheering us.
It's never a bad thing.
No. We're doing something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah, I've said it many times on the show. That's what I love about doing this show, other than hanging out with you for, half hour, 45 minutes. But, it's the idea that we can talk about what's going on. We can talk about why the certain sports stories that are big this week in Seattle, that in the long term will be big, why they're occurring, the background, the foundation to it.
Yeah, sometimes people don't realize here at KOMO News World headquarters, we're almost like ships crossing in the night, ships crossing the world. Something that, the Seattle Sports Commission can talk about.
Yeah, how about that? That was a really good segue, by the way. I was just going to get into the whole thing I see Chris and you're busy talking to some politician or something. Oh my God, Chris, did you see it? And because I don't get to see other than maybe inside the arena. But yes, the Seattle Sports Commission, anything that has the word sport by it, they are in on and making Seattle better for it.
And Beth Knox is a friend of the show. She's going to be back here in this show talking about the Savannah Bananas and all the different events that the SSC is bidding on right now, including that whole ships going around the world thing. Yeah,
that's going to be a really cool thing to talk about. And, that's the other thing. I mean, stuff that is truly on the radar, the World Cup, when the All-Star game was here and stuff. Of course, they have a hand in that, but there's also some really cool events like this that you may not have heard about. Or remember the NCAA swimming championships were in Federal Way, things like that just really enhance the overall fabric of Seattle sports.
Yeah, and she and her team are on the front lines of trying to recruit events. They're traveling around. I know in particular of one that they're trying to bid on right now. So she and her team are really have their thumb on the collective sports footprint. And we know that on this show, we like to talk about everything going on off the ice, off the court, off the field of play.
Yeah. Is it time to touch them all?
It's time to touch them all. Four corners. There we are.
Yeah.
What's good? What's bad? Niko, always batting lead off. Sometimes like JP Crawford.
Maybe sometimes like Randy Arozarena.
Or Victor Robles.
Whoever it is.
You're always batting lead off.
Speaking of the Mariners, so one of the things I like is that we can talk about the results and things like that as they go on day by day. But one thing that's really cool to me when it comes to this Mariners fan base is that there's always some crazy thing that comes out of left field. This past week or two, it's been the Etsy witch. And if you're unfamiliar, Mariners lost 6 games in a row. This fan goes on Etsy, finds a witch. I didn't know that was a thing. On both counts, and sends a message, paid $15.99 to lift the curse in the Mariners. The Etsy witch replies with a note and says the curse and good vibes or something like that has happened. And after that, the Mariners go on a huge win streak. And what other fan base has crazy stuff like that? The Mariners have had so many instances of this in recent years, right? There was the rally shoe in the 2022 playoff run. There was the dancing guy in the crowd all those years ago, decades ago. I'm sure we could come up with a half dozen other things. And it's just, whatever it is, it feels like the Mariners fan base, more than any other I've ever encountered, when it comes to these really cool, quirky things that rally the team. There's the Breaking Tea has a t-shirt out that says powered by witchcraft with the Mariners players. They're these things just take on a larger than life thing and become, like the Big Dumper nickname. You could argue what was once just a Jared Kalnick tweet became the coolest nickname of all sports because of the Mariner fans. So that's what I love about this fan base. They're so passionate. We'll get on that in a minute, but they're so passionate that these things take on a life of their own and become these really cool things that help define the season.
I will take an Etsy witch over the rally shoe any day of the week. The rally shoe, come on now, look back on it. How it looked on video with people putting shoes on their head. What was that, Bill?
I'm shocked.
Yes. The rally shoe. The rally shoe. I'll take a witch off Etsy any day.
You know what the next one's going to be when Victor Robles hits a big home run in the fingers crossed playoffs? It's his 2 monkeys that he has. They're going to be like, remember the Angels had the rally monkey in like 2002? That's going to be our rally. Is his pet monkeys.
Yes, well, and I got to give a shout out too to Matt Calkins, Seattle Times wrote a great column about Josh Naylor in this last week and an 11 pitch at bat. And
that was huge.
What that meant, it was one of those things you don't really see in a box score, but the fact that he fought it off and then had the big hit, and that says something about what this team has been doing down the stretch.
Please re-sign Josh Naylor. He's perfect for this team and this city.
He has been perfect for this team. And you know what else is perfect in this city right now?
You're on the segways today.
How about the Cougs during Apple Cup week and the Coug alumni?
Whoa.
Wow. Bill.
Wow.
Bill Fesh clearing his throat.
Producer Bill.
You may have seen this on Highway 99. Glenn Osterhout, a great Washington State University alumni and booster. He and the Cougs First team have put up a billboard in Seattle on Highway 99 near East Marginal Way and South Horton Street to showcase Washington State University as the #1 ranked school in the nation for student satisfaction.
Oh, I saw that.
#1 for all schools of all sizes, per Princeton Review's latest survey results. Also ranked in the top 10 nationally and 12 other measures of university quality, top 25 and another 7, top 50, and yet 3 more, including best value among public universities. And he says, in the spirit of Apple Cup week, it should be noted that the University of Washington did not appear in the top 25 for student satisfaction in the same
Those
survey.
are fighting words, Chris.
Those are fighting words, and really using it to highlight Cougs First, which is a alumni group that has been put together to encourage Cougs to buy from other Cougs. So he even quotes in the release about the billboard, WSU grad and KOMO TV legend Eric Johnson came up with the idea, and he loves the fact that we are showcasing this in Seattle.
Is this the equivalent of Jaden DeLora planting the flag at UW in 2021?
I don't know. You could make that connection, but I think a lot of people are going to be driving by that billboard every day during Apple Cup week.
Smart. It's smart. And I will say, as I try to be neutral in this rivalry because I cover both teams. I didn't go to either institution. Admittedly, when I first got to Seattle, I thought all the Cougs in this KOMO newsroom were like delusional. Like, okay, this place can't be that great. Like, it's kind of middle of nowhere. Like, okay, like, cool, you went to school there. Everybody loves their alma mater. But then I did go there, and since I've been obviously back several times, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, first time there, I'm like, I get it. Like, I don't think you describe it a certain way. It's just like when you're there, you kind of get it. Yeah. Or when you're there, you're home, I guess. Is that what the way the line goes?
That's the way the song goes. And when you come over the hill, all of a sudden there's a university campus.
I will say the drive from Seattle to Pullman is one of the most beautiful you'll see anywhere. No question.
I think people affectionately call it God's country.
There you go.
The Palouse.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, what don't you like this week?
Well, I'm going to go back to, and I wouldn't call these folks Mariner fans, but I want to take a look at the current state of the team and say, this is why you don't freak out. And I think I've made this argument before. During the 6-game losing streak, it was fire Dan, fire this guy, fire this one, trade this one. They're done. They're out. Baseball, your luck can change that quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not like this suddenly was a bad team. Like 6 games of what that losing streak was, over 162. While it's not great to lose even 2 in a row, it's rather insignificant. And there was still time, and they were still in the picture. The point is this, and didn't mean to hit the microphone there. I was about to rant. In baseball, more than any other sport, chill out. Like, it's a long way to go. And this recent stretch doesn't by any stretch guarantee anything, right? But it does show you that, like, listen, ebbs and flows are going to happen. They're not going to be fun at times, but it doesn't mean to overreact, especially with a team like the Mariners that did the right things at the deadline, is as deep as they've been in probably the last, 15 years maybe. So looking at it in that regard, again, not talking about a broader thing, but there was a lot of chatter on social media when that losing streak hit 6 when they were in Atlanta. And it's like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And nobody would hear it. And now we're back in euphoria again, which is the way it should be.
What's wild this year is you think about last year, a lot of people were suggesting that the Mariners were spoiling the opportunity, having this historically good pitching starting pitching. And this year we've seen the starting pitching kind of falter.
Sure.
And now they have a lineup that I think you look 1 through 6. It's pretty darn good.
It's as good as anybody. I mean, maybe a couple of the teams like the, Dodgers that have just bought everybody in the world to play in their team. But, you went from having, your 6-hitter could be any given night, Cole Young or Ben Williamson, no offense to those guys. Now it's Gino Suarez or it's Jorge Polanco or it's, it's a guy that is it still is one of the heavy hitters in the lineup. So it's a much deeper lineup and it makes it so much tougher on opposing pitchers. It's not, especially the starter. Okay, let's get through the 4 spot and then we're in the clear. It's even the 9 guys, JP often hitting in the 9 spot. It's like, oh gosh, this is a really tough lineup to hit.
And you're the guy who has done the story on the weather and the adverse weather impacts at T-Mobile Park and why can't people hit? They're hitting this year.
They are, and it's really refreshing. First of all, anybody who was on Julio Rodriguez's case earlier in the year, he warms up in the summer. And he's gone on to have a monster year, over 30 home runs. And people earlier in the year were bashing the guy. This is my point I'm trying to make. Like, in May and June, relax. Unless you're 20 games under 500, relax. These things take time. There's going to be hot streaks. I mean, look at how hot Cal was in the first half. And not that he's cold right now, but of course he's not at that same pace. It doesn't mean he's any different. It's just the way baseball goes. And again, to that point, Josh Naylor has said numerous times in the record he loves hitting at T-Mobile Park. Again, that's why you got to lock this guy up. He wants to hit here.
And I think we've heard comments here in the last week or so that Mariners leadership, and it's rare you hear this, suggests that they want to lock him up long term, but they're running out of window here towards the end of the season. But it's interesting that dialogue is happening openly at this point in the season.
It is unique, but you have to try and do it before he becomes the free agent, right?
Yep.
You've got this hometown window here, and he by all accounts, and what he says, loves it here, not just hitting, but being in Seattle. So if you can swing that, get a deal before the other 29 teams have a shot at him, I mean, obviously it would behoove you. So it is a unique balance. He's trying to get this team back to the playoffs. Obviously those conversations are happening with his agent, but yeah, it's a unique thing, but it's what the Mariners absolutely have to do.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't like this week.
Okay.
Niko, you just talked about how great it is driving into Pullman.
Sure.
It still seems weird that we're talking about an Apple Cup in September.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going to be normal for Cougars and Huskies to talk about a September afternoon in Pullman or in Seattle playing each other versus some cold November night or day, as it has been for every year with the exception of these last 2. It's going to be interesting to see the crowd, too. There is going to be some history made over at Washington State University off the field, with beer and wine being sold.
For this game especially, yeah.
In the stadium, and who knows who may be going to the beer and wine cart more than the other after what we saw here in the last week and the Huskies going in off a bye. It's going to be interesting. I think you can make the argument that last season with a new coaching staff at the University of Washington, maybe the Cougs caught the Huskies off guard. I think the roles may be shaping up to be reversed in this matchup with the bye week in particular.
Yeah, the Dogs are a much better team this year than last year. I'm not, listen, nobody wants to talk about that Cougs North Texas game, but
I'm sorry, what game?
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be relatively close, but I like the Dogs, and I think that, it's again something that you have to look at from the standpoint of when you get this game, it doesn't matter. It's going to be close. It's going to be a fight. You think about 2023, the undefeated Huskies against the 5 and 6 or whatever the Cougs were that time. And the Cougs very easily could have won that game if not for a 4th and 1 jet sweep to Roma Dunze and a field goal at the end, and so whatever's happened in recent weeks, whatever team you like right now, it doesn't matter. This is always going to be a fun matchup.
Well, let's update people as we do every week on, it's called the Supersonic Minute, folks. The latest twists and turns as the basketball turns with the NBA, and really the latest update, if you were paying attention last week, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver did hold another press availability after the NBA Board of Governors to suggest that they are still talking about expansion. They talked about it at that Board of Governors meeting. He says that it is a separate conversation from any sort of European expansion, and those conversations are happening simultaneously, but he also said that there is some issue with franchise valuations and the marketplace being reset. As somebody pointed out to me, 11 franchise sales since 2008 when the Sonics left. Obviously, franchise valuations have shot up in price. There's a question of whether owners, a third of the NBA being new ownership, whether they really want to expand or cash in their chips on their team. There's been some reporting out of Oklahoma City that Clay Bennett and his group may also be interested in selling that franchise and making a lot more money than they bought it for nearly 20 years ago in Seattle. The thing that most people are talking about in NBA circles here before the season starts is the reporting, first of all, by Pablo Torre about Steve Ballmer and the Los Angeles Clippers and the startup company and millions that were invested in the startup company and Kawhi Leonard. You can go down that road with Pablo Torre about the questions of circumventing the salary cap. Adam Silver did say that the league is investigating, and he has broad punishment power as the NBA commissioner. So that does not sound good for Steve Ballmer and his associates in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's the one you got to monitor. That's a really unique situation.
Yes, and it's complicated.
Yeah, that's the other word.
Yes. So Pablo Torre, all over it, has done a couple of podcasts on that. And obviously we watched that with some interest here because we know Steve Ballmer's local ties.
Yes.
Speaking of other sports, how about our friend Beth Knox?
We love Beth Knox.
She is a friend of the program. She is the leader of the Seattle Sports Commission, and she is excited about things like the Savannah Bananas.
Yes. Sold
out in Seattle. There are also some other events that are on the horizon. She is going to step inside the arena right after this.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. The hotel is officially open. Book now for an unforgettable experience. Enjoy sweeping cascade views, a new sports bar, and play your favorite games. Visit snowcasino.com for details. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
All right, Beth, I was making a little joke with Niko there about the round the world boat race, but there is a lot more going on with that and with the Seattle Sports Commission. Thanks for joining us once again. Let's start there. Let's start with the Clipper around the world yacht race. That's something that the Seattle Sports Commission is heavily involved in. It's also making a stop. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, no, it was really exciting. This race is pretty incredible. It is an 11-month journey where they are these 10 yachts are sailing around the world, stopping at I think it's like 14 different ports throughout the world. They will end up in Seattle next April. They've been doing this now for a few years, so it's about every 2 years that they arrive here because of how long the journey is. It's a pretty grueling race that they are part of, especially the last stage where they are coming into Seattle. It's pretty challenging crossing the Pacific Ocean that way, but super impressive. We love that we have an actual yacht in the race this year. So we named it the Power of Seattle Sports, which that message is being carried around the world. We also love that our skipper and first mate are two women that are pretty badass sailors. So the boat is being led by in a pretty amazing crew.
Well, and based on Seattle sports right now, I'm sure the rear of the boat is doing extremely well, getting a little boost there from Cal Raleigh.
Exactly, right? Nice little play there.
Yeah. Well, one of the big events that's just around the corner, and by the time people are listening to this or seeing it, they may have already attended, but the Savannah Bananas. What a story that group, that team, that franchise has become. The biggest comparison people make is the Harlem Globetrotters, but there's a lot more that goes into a Savannah Bananas event than just a basketball game. There's all sorts of events that surround it, and it's sold out for 2 nights at T-Mobile Park. Why was this a big thing to draw to Seattle?
Well, the Savannah Bananas and their sister teams that play now have just taken the country by storm. They are selling out major league ballparks. nearly everywhere they go. But they had never been to the Pacific Northwest. Really hadn't spent much time on the West Coast at all. So there was a lot of pent up interest and excitement about seeing them. So when they opened up the ticket sales, the 2 nights sold out very quickly. It was a lottery. People had the chance to be able to purchase tickets. But they bring a lot of energy and excitement. I think it's because they're so unique. It's not just that they are clever, but they have special rules that keep the game entertaining and fast moving. They do choreographed dances on the field. They have all of these kind of pre-game festivities. I guess not unlike a Taylor Swift concert where there's all those activities, autograph signing, a variety of activities that take place. Entertainment, live performances, merch sales. And they have something called Before the Peel, which is a great name for where they bring out all of the players and have special appearances. And I would say it's their version of the Sounders' March to the Match. So all of these characters and players kind of followed the Pied Piper, the CEO of the Savannah Bananas, dressed all in an all yellow, bright yellow suit, and leading all the fans and ticket holders into the stadium. So it's a unique and fun experience.
And what's interesting too, there's been a lot of discussion and things written about the Savannah Bananas over the last year or so, and just maybe some ideas that Major League Baseball can copy, including the length of the game and limiting the game to a couple of hours, and everything that you mentioned, the buzz pregame, and making these games an event for people to go to. It's surprising, Beth, that the resale value of some of these tickets down crazy. In the lower bowl. I'm like, it's Taylor Swift playing at T-Mobile Park.
I know. Well, and I think what is also really appealing about it, Chris, is that it is so family oriented. So it's something you can bring the entire family to. Everybody's going to have a great time while you're watching quality baseball. And I think that's what has been most appealing to the folks that are attending these games.
As far as the events, other events on the horizon, I think there's going to be more and more people in the region that are going to be looking at the World Cup and planning their lives around the World Cup when it comes to Seattle in June and July of 2026. We just heard in the last week or so, tickets, you got your first chance to get on the list for a lottery for tickets for the World Cup. What is that all about? Can you explain it a little bit better than I just did?
Yeah, I know. Nothing can be straightforward about this, but so we have fans will have access to the ticket lottery, and that'll happen between September 10th and 19th. That's the application time period for a chance for Visa card holders to buy tickets. And so you can go to FIFA.com /tickets, and you can apply to have this opportunity. And then at the end of September 29th, FIFA will begin notifying those selected fans who have been selected to purchase tickets. So then October 1st is the first opportunity when those time slots open. And so if you were selected during the lottery, then you will have the opportunity to purchase tickets during your assigned slot. Those fans can then buy up to 4 tickets per match for up to 10 matches total. Now, there's going to be additional opportunities to buy tickets. There'll be an early ticket draw between October and December of this year. They'll have a random selection draw, which will happen after the December 5th team draw. And it's all first come, first serve as the sales move closer to the tournament. So there is a lot going on there, but there's plenty of opportunities for people to purchase those tickets.
And there's opportunities right now as well to sign up to volunteer, are there not?
That is true. And this is a great way for you to participate in or attend these matches by being a volunteer. So you can go to the local organizing committee's website, which is Seattle FWC 26 KOMO.org. And then you can find the volunteer link there. That will give you the link to apply to be a volunteer and get more information.
Obviously, there is an organizing committee locally for Seattle for the FIFA World Cup. But in the discussions that you're having from where you sit, I mean, what is planning looking like right now? What did you learn from the Club World Cup, perhaps, where the setup outside Lumen Field was different?
Yeah, it was a great, I would say, a dry run in some ways to do Club World Cup. The two events are very different. There's no question about that. But the systems that are used, whether it's the perimeter, the security, access to the stadium, all of those components, transportation, we got to exercise that muscle. So that was really valuable for the local organizing committee, as well as all of our local agencies that are working really hard to prepare and plan for next summer's World Cup. So yeah, we're excited about where the planning is in our phases right now. This team has been working at it for 2.5 years. So there's a lot that has gone into it, a lot of engagement with the neighborhoods and community organizations. Everybody wants to be part of it in some way. So there's also a lot of preparation around how do we help these neighborhood and community organizations and business leaders also be prepared. So a few things that are available right now. One is the Sports Commission has done in partnership with the local organizing committee, prepared a watch party playbook. And this provides the rules and guidelines for those who want to host a watch party in some fashion. And it tells you all the different ways you could do that. The only thing we don't have yet is the licensing fee structure. We're waiting on that from FIFA. Should be forthcoming, I would say, in the next month or so. But then also coming up will be two other playbooks. One is with our friends at Visit Seattle, creating a branding playbook. Of course, we know that no one is allowed to use the FIFA marks or the World Cup marks unless you are a national or global sponsor. So this branding playbook provides guidance on how to promote your watch party, for instance, and do it in a way that is going to be approved by FIFA and the local organizing committee. And then the third playbook will be for those businesses, as I mentioned. That will be done in partnership with the Greater Seattle Chamber of Commerce. And they are putting together just a support guidelines around what it means to prepare for the World Cup. You don't want to, you want to be calculated in that preparation so that you are prepared for all of these visitors and the locals who will be here taking advantage of the event in maximizing this great opportunity.
Well, and I'll add a fourth playbook. It's Sound Transit to get the 2 line across from Bellevue to Seattle and back. So
here, here.
Stay in Bellevue and get to the games in Seattle. And Sound Transit is saying right now, early 2026, for those of you who haven't been paying attention like me. Okay, so big event coming up as well for the Seattle Sports Commission. That's the Women in Leadership Breakfast for people who have not attended before. What's that all about?
This has been long one of my favorite events. The Women in Leadership Breakfast really brings together a powerful group of speakers and panelists that is around how do we celebrate and advance women in sports and business leadership. So we focus on these really powerful voices that have brought unique leadership styles to their, whether again it's business or sports, and bringing that to the attendees. So our theme this year is cultivating confidence, and attendees will be challenged to identify those self-limiting beliefs and build a framework for success. We've got some really great speakers, Chris. I'm super excited about this year's event. A couple of ones that might be of interest is Kenji Lopez Alt. Are you familiar with Kenji, Chris? Yeah, he's just fantastic. He's a world-renowned chef, a food scientist, and a culinary innovator. And some folks might know him from his bestseller, The Food Lab, but he is really present in social media.
I was just going to interrupt you. He's very prolific on social media.
Exactly. He really is. And so that's part of this desire to cultivate confidence also digitally. So what is our brand that we're bringing to social media as a leader, or whether you're an emerging leader or a veteran? How are you presenting that confidence socially through social media? So Kenji will be leading a panel on that topic. We have another, Jewel Kim, who is an executive coach, author, and she's going to talk about, so many of us have, at some point in our career, have struggled with imposter syndrome, and how do you tackle that? We've got some other speakers like Pallavi Metawahi, who is the managing partner of Arnold and Porter Law Firm. We've got Amy Shear, who is Executive Vice President of Operations for the Professional Women's Hockey League. The list goes on. So there's a lot of really great energy, and it's just a fun conversation. There's the Seattle Rain, the Seattle Storm, PWHL, excuse me, will all be there as well. And we always have great ticket giveaways. You can get a new headshot. So many fun things to take advantage of at this event.
Well, and you were making the point to me that this is a unique market, and I think there is credit to you on this in opening the doors to this market. But this is a market with 4 different professional franchises that are women. Then we're talking about the Rain, the Storm, the flag football team, and then the PWHL. And then you talk about all the great teams that have been women at the University of Washington over the years. And this is a rare market for female-focused sports.
It really is. We have something very special in our market around women leaders. And I want to be clear that this event, even, it's called Women in Leadership Breakfast. It is for everyone. I think that's the important thing to take away here is that, women are being successful in Seattle because we have a lot of great male counterparts that are working to support and advance women in leadership. So it's important that we have all those voices at the table, but we really want to showcase what a special market that we have here in Seattle, in the greater Seattle region, around featuring women leaders in sports, in business, certainly in the front offices of our sports teams as well. So it's an exciting place to be, and we want to showcase that.
All right, let's close with this. Any exciting bids that you're looking at, trying to, I don't know, Super Bowl or, something like that?
Well, there's a few that are on the farther horizon. Certainly the 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup. That is in our sights, and we are starting that bid process with U.S. Soccer as well as FIFA. Also in 2031 would be the Men's Rugby World Cup. That bid process has begun. And then in 2033 would be the Women's Rugby World Cup. So those are further down the line. But we also just recently attended a symposium with the NCAA talking about the next bid cycle for NCAA championship events. So we'll start having conversations not only with the sports venues, but also with our universities to partners, to ask, really discover what bids do we want to focus on. We know that volleyball is of great interest. We want to bring back men's basketball, women's super regional. There's a lot on our wish list. So we'll start that process and begin the bid discussion so that we can keep the cadence of those collegiate events coming to Seattle.
I still think it would be great to have an NFL draft or even an NHL draft if they want to change the system now, and draft picks coming down the Space Needle or draft picks coming in off Lake Union and the skyline. I mean, it's picture perfect. I'm just put that bug in your ear.
Well, I appreciate that, Chris. Those are on our wish list as well. We're going to keep exploring those opportunities. Especially following hosting a World Cup. Seattle is truly now we are known as a world-class sports market. So those events are certainly in our sights and of interest for us. We're going to keep going after them.
All right, Beth Knox, thank you.
My pleasure. Great to talk to you today.
So there you have it, Beth Knox. One thing we do want to point out on a regular basis, you can listen to the extended interviews that we do with people on this show on the audio platform. Choose your favorite audio platform. You might be listening to us now on, say, Spotify or Apple Podcasts or another platform. You will hear the interviews in their entirety in the audio platform and on YouTube. On TV, now that we're on TV on both the CW and on KOMO after Monday Night Football, we tend to make some edits. So if you're really interested in what somebody has to say, you can listen all the time online on your favorite podcast platform.
There you go. That means you can hear David Lee every week.
Exactly.
You've been listening to Inside the Arena with Niko and Chris. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Until next time.
Inside the Arena was presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sports book.